So hear me, right? Okay, so
Can you hear me? Is it all working?
yep, it appears to be working. It's Ben Stokes, who somehow is wearing a jumper in this weather.
Yeah, I know.
So I mean, on my list of things to do, the first thing I need to do is get you to do 3 blind, because you are, of course, the national record holder for 3 blind mean.
Absolutely.
Will you please do this scramble?
Okay.
So you can demonstrate to everyone.
Scrambled. Let me angle the camera down so I can see it. You just have to trust me that's on my face.
What time was that?
There's a 23.49.
That's sub your mean, isn't it? Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Your mean is, let me remind myself.
23.67, I believe. Yeah.
23.67, yep. Still haven't got a sub 20 single though.
I know.
When's it coming then?
Well, I've got a round this weekend and 2 rounds the weekend afterwards, so I'm hoping for it, but I feel like you might see another mean a bit sooner, because the single takes a bit of a lucky scramble, but I feel like the mean could be any set of scrambles. Right,
okay. Yeah, that does make sense. I guess it is a bit closer, isn't it, though, than other things?
Yes.
23.67.
Yeah, very close. The single and mean national records are around the same place for world rankings, so they're definitely similar in skill. Just need to
yeah, I mean, to be fair, I mean, doesn't Tommy Cherry have a 14 single and a 15 mean?
Yeah, Tommy Cherry has 14.6 single and 15.27 mean. Elliot Koblansky also has a 14 single and a 15 mean. Right. So yeah, they're very much pushing how far you can go with 3 blind at this point.
And what do you think separates you from them then?
Well, I feel like I play things a bit safer. I'm definitely one who likes getting a lot of 3 blind successes, and so I feel like I play a bit safer. They're also they're not as risk averse as I am. So a lot of the techniques they use sort of involve deducing their last letter pair in memorization. Instead of memorizing it, they'll just, while they're already turning the cube with the blindfold on, they'll figure it out and things like that. They're really looking for those split-second time saves that are going to keep building up. They also know a lot more algorithms than I do. So floating is a thing in 3 blind, which I can do on an intuitive level, but they know thousands of different commutators like from memory and can execute them a lot faster. And lastly, it's just, as it is with 3x3 with look ahead, it's just a think ahead. Mine's not quite there yet, all my turning, but I think once I can get that down, I can definitely get that fast in future.
Fair enough. Yeah, well, I'll keep at it. You are, of course, if you go onto the sum of ranks data, you are the newest one in the top 15, newest WCA ID.
Really?
I'm sure you know who the next newest one is in the top 20, of course. The newest in the top 20.
What, for UK?
Yeah.
Is it Daniel Partridge?
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, he is. He is a very promising cuber. I'm very excited to see how he does. As he starts competing more.
It's a case of sticking at it. So when did you actually solve your first cube?
It was April 2017. I remember. I think I actually have a video of it somewhere. I had been to an arcade that day, and I got a Rubik's Cube as a prize for some tickets. And that was what I did out of board. I think I got multiple of them, and I thought, it's funny, I'll just scramble all of them and see how long it takes me to learn to solve all of them and solve all of them. And that's what I did, and it took a few hours, but I don't know what it was. I'd sort of gotten bored of gaming and things, and I just I fell in love with it, really. It's very much my kind of thing. I get very obsessed with new hobbies, and this was definitely that. And yeah, bought Speed Cube about 2 or 3 weeks later.
And then went to your first comp the next year.
Yes, in October the next year, started at the UK Championships.
Ooh.
Yeah, which means this year UK Championships will be my 4-year anniversary of competing, which feels weird because it feels like it was just yesterday as well. But very,
and you
very
have
excited.
improved quite quickly to already have a national record.
Yeah, I still forget about that, really. But I waited. I feel like I waited quite a long time before competing compared to other people, because there are a lot of people who go to competitions when they still average about 30 seconds, which is a good thing. I think competing immediately is great. I think everyone should do it. But I waited so long before I competed, and when I got there, I was already averaging like 13 seconds on 3x3. And
Right. Yeah, I mean, obviously I waited a long time, but then I also spent 2 years at primary school without really realizing that there was a community and that cubes better than a Rubik's brand existed.
yeah,
So it's a bit different there. So of course, yeah, I've got down what do you know for 3 blind. So you mentioned that you know floating on an intuitive level, but I
yeah,
presume you know all 3 style and all that. And
yeah. So I know from straight memory, I definitely know full 3 style edges and corners, and I know an extra buffer for them. So I know UB as well as UF for edges, and I know UBL as well as UFR for corner buffers. And it doesn't mean that when I get the other ones in the solves, I don't do them. It just means that sometimes I'm just setting up to cases I know, or sometimes I'm sort of having to come up with things on the spot, because 3 style is intuitive when it gets down to it. So you can sort of figure them out as if they were F2L cases.
okay, right. Yeah, maybe something to learn one day, but I've got to do M2 first, I think.
Yeah.
I presume you would have, say, learn M2 first.
Yeah, I would definitely learn M2. I didn't realize you didn't use it because I saw you getting 2-minute times. So that's kind of impressive.
No,
But,
still pure OP. I think I do use J perms as well as T perms for edges.
yeah, that's okay. That's good. But yeah, M2 really isn't that difficult. There's a couple of nasty cases to learn at first, but it's actually quite easy when you get to it. And obviously, the time it takes to do an M2 is a lot faster than doing a whole T perm.
I think I did once learn it and then just lost interest and forgot about it. So I should probably relearn it at some point. But
yeah.
at the moment, it's square one. Finally relearn how to do a square one for the 4th
Oh, right, yeah. There's a lot of, square one's a tricky one because the algorithms don't really make sense in the way they do on other cubes.
Yeah, but I guess they are shorter, and that Cube Master tutorial was really good. Like just explaining things at an intuitive level, just instead of complicated notation. And it's made me go on to Speed Cube DV and think, oh, 0, 3, okay, that's D.
Yeah.
Like stuff like that. So I mean, the other thing is, of course, you're big blind. Anybody who's good at 3 blind is also good at 4 blind and 5 blind. Although
not necessarily, but they've definitely all got the potential in it.
Right. So I mean, you've obviously finally got 4 blind successes now.
Yeah, crack that one finally. Yeah.
But still no mean or anything.
Yes, I came close. I think I got 2 successes in a row at one of the Kidderminsters, but yeah, no mean just yet. But compared to my official results, I've definitely got much bigger plans for big blind than what my results currently look like. Yeah, there it is.
Right. So like, what do you actually average on for blind at home?
About a minute faster than the results on there.
Right.
Yeah. It's very nerve-wracking in competition. So obviously with big blind we memorize, and since it's so much information we still review. I don't one pass it. So at home I'm doing a memorization and then review it once and then I'm ready to start. But in competition sometimes I'm reviewing it in extra time, and that adds the time, and I'm turning a bit more safely. But I think, like for example, my usual memorization at home takes about maybe 56 seconds. That PR single I got there, my memo was 2 minutes. So right. It's a skill issue. I need to nail that and get a lot better at my competition nerves with it. But now that I've started getting successes, I think that I'm going to go in with a lot more confidence with it.
Okay.
I have not nailed successes yet.
So yeah, obviously it's all
Yeah.
DNFs. You've got 9 DNFs and 3 DNSs.
Yes.
What was the closest then out of all those?
I don't think any of them were, to be honest with you. I think one of the ones at the first Kidderminster was just execution errors, nothing wrong with my memo. But other than that, I've really not come very close to it. It's again, just when I get to competition. When I'm at home, I can get it right pretty often. So I just need to practice more leading up to it and do a bit more competition style practice so that I can finally get everything on my profile.
Fair enough. Yeah. So what do you actually get a 5 blind at home then?
It really depends how fast I'm trying to go. If I'm trying to go for success, I think I can always get around 6 minutes, but I definitely get sub 6 solves fairly often when I get into practicing it. But it's very hard to maintain. So sometimes I average. It is really all over the place.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then of course the other thing is multi-blind. So
yeah. The last time I did a multi-blind attempt was for your online competition. That was the last time I did a multi-blind attempt at home. So that was 2.5 years ago now. I do it in competition, but like it doesn't always go well. The first attempt at Kidderminster, the first time, was 8 out of 25. So I've got some pretty funny results going on there. And obviously you can kind of tell I'm a bit lazy here, because if you look at my attempts from the most recent Kidderminster blind off, I've got so much free time left, like 2 half-an-hour attempts and a 45-minute attempt. Like I'm meant to have an hour, but you know, I've got multi-blind this weekend, and I'm probably gonna submit 25 for it again. So we'll see.
So is this Carlisle?
Carlisle, yes.
Right. Okay. Yeah. And you've got 25 cubes.
I've got lots of them. That's like 17 along my radio to there, but I've got 3x3s everywhere.
What cubes are they?
Mailongs, mostly
Right.
Mailongs. There's a YLM there as well. But I bought 20 Mailongs at the start of lockdown, expecting to get really into multi-blinds, and I just never used them. I feel like I've let myself down with that, because I know I could be good at it, but it's so hard to commit to it at home because you could just solve them all. Whereas in competition, someone's just scrambled them for you. You may as well do the attempt. At home, I could very easily just be like, oh no, I can't be bothered anymore. And that's what usually happens. Also, keeping the house quiet for an hour, like saying, oh, don't shout outside my room, don't call me out. I'm doing this. I need an hour. Sometimes isn't very convenient.
Yeah, I guess you do really need quiet for that sort of thing. I think I once did a 3-cube multi-blind attempt inside a library, actually.
Yeah, actually, I did a 5-cube multi-blind attempt on a plane recently.
How did it go?
I actually got 5 out of 5 as well. I was actually very surprised with that. But
How long did it take?
I don't know, about 10 minutes, something like that.
Fair enough. Well done. And of course, aside from blind events, you are of course third in the UK for 2x2 after getting drunk the night before.
Yeah, I did. But that was funny though, because I expected absolutely nothing because of that. So I was just like, oh, I'm not even bothered about this. I'm not going to do well. And they were sort of all right scrambles, but it's because my expectations were so low. I was just not worrying about my inspection and actually finding good solutions. Like what the best solve, I like had a bad solution planned out in my head that was going to be like a 2, and I heard 8 seconds, and I still found something else and got the best solve. And I've never performed like that in 2x2 ever again.
Right. And of course,
yeah.
the funny thing is about 2x2 is that your worst ranking in anything is 2x2 single.
Yeah, the single isn't exactly great for the average, is it?
Is that in the same average?
No, that was in Ireland last year.
Right. Have you had opportunities to get good 2x2 singles?
Yes, I had a 7-move solve that multiple people got sub-1s on at Chester that I did the wrong solution to.
Right.
The one that Callum Howe's Jep got his 0.9 on, it was like, yeah, I think it was 6 or 7 moves, and I solved the layer in a way that gave me sexy sledge instead of giving me a last layer skip. And yeah, I was very annoyed when I found that out, because that would have also been my PR average if I'd got my best solve on that solve.
Right. But, yeah, fair enough. Of course, with 2x2, you are, I presume, one looking every time.
Yeah, I one look every solve.
And
yeah.
So you obviously predict where each of the rest of the corners are going to be.
Yeah, it starts off with tracking like F12 plus 1, cross plus 1, but I feel like at this point I don't even know how I do it anymore, because I've been doing 2x2 since I was one looking at my first competition. I just was messing up it. But I think at this point, either I'm trying to think about how it works, but I think either I can just see the moves happening in my head and sort of figure it out from that, or I just know where everything's going to be because I've done so many solves. Like I just see a layer and I'm like, oh, like it's this 4-move side. I know where everything ends up.
Do you think that has an impact on other things, other events, though, the ability to track all 4 pieces and where they're going to end up?
No, not really. I mean, it helps a bit with 3x3 last layer, maybe, because you can sort of have a bit of look ahead into last layer. But as for the other events you one look, like Megaminx and S2L, they're very different in how you one look them. And so I'm actually very bad at those 2 events. Like they're like some of my biggest room for improvement are Megaminx and S2L. Whereas if I'm good at 2x2, I should have similar potential if I put the same amount of work in.
Yeah, of course. I'm pretty sure if you just got a slightly better S2L average, you'd nemesis Harry, which would please me, of course.
Very close.
Yeah, but yeah, your worst average ranking is Megaminx and
7x7.
7x3, 5x5, and 3x3.
Yeah.
26, but that's still top 26 for every event average in the UK.
Yeah, I focus a lot on sum of ranks. I think people know me as a blinder, but actually I do every event at home. I'm always, there's no event on this page that I don't practice at home constantly. I really enjoy seeing the sum of ranks go down, and if it's not my sum of national ranks getting better, then still there's the European ones and there's the world ones, and they change after every competition. So it for me is really pleasing to see my whole profile get better rather than just one event.
And what would you do if a new event was added?
Oh, I would practice it constantly. I don't know what it would be, but if I thought a puzzle was getting added to the WCA, I would turn my whole attention to that. Not because I wanted to be the first person to get NR so I could have bragging rights, but just because I'd want to be good at it when it came in. Because yeah, I'd like that.
Fair enough.
Also, if it was a new puzzle or something, I think that would be very interesting because I'd learn a lot more about a new way of solving. Something like FTO, which people are into, is a complete different way of solving a puzzle. And I think that would be quite a fun, different thing.
Mm. So, I mean, do you do non-WCA stuff much?
Not until the other day. Because I don't know if you've seen, but on the page for Euros 2024, they've said they think they want to hold some non-WCA stuff.
Oh,
so
yeah.
They're suggesting they might have a round of feet, and they're thinking 2x2 blindfolded and things like that. I think so. I did a lot of 2x2 blindfolded solves, and that was fun.
Of course, you do have a feet average. 52.
Yeah. I mean, I was one of the people who was definitely against it being removed, and now everyone has to listen to me ranting about it to the end of time. That's what they get for that.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Now, the other thing worth looking at is Megaminx. Of course, that is your third best event.
It is my favourite event.
Your favourite event as well.
Yeah, might be surprising to some people. I mean, I love Three Blind, but Megaminx is my favourite puzzle because there's just so much creative stuff you can do with it, and you have to be really creative in the intuitive stages, and the finger tricks are fun to do. It's so fun to solve Megaminx. More people should do Megaminx.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I presume you basically do the same thing as everyone else, cross F2L, and then more F2L.
F2L, yeah. S2L in the Westland order, and then
what do you mean by that? Westland order?
Yeah.
What do you mean by that?
Oh, so people have fixed color orders for S2L so that the pieces they'll have better recognition for and they'll be able to find them faster. And I go round in an anti-clockwise. Yeah, I go anti-clockwise round the cube, solving one color at a time in that order. So that there's three main orders. There's the Westland order, which is what I just explained. There's the Yudishan order, which is similar, but it rotates a different way and ends up with a different last layer color. And then there's Balint, which is different. That's more like freestyle S2L, where you sort of reduce it to 3x3 like F2L at the end of it. And like that's what Cormac Farrell does, but Sean does Westland. Okay. So I'm sticking with what was recommended to me at the start.
Okay, fair enough. I've always just done it pretty free.
Yeah. I mean, that's what Juan Pablo does. He does it completely freestyle.
Right, yeah. Although I still use basically beginner's stuff for last layer, which probably needs fixing at some point. But I guess the issue is like S2L probably makes more difference, to be fair.
Yeah, it does.
I presume you use 4-look last layer for it as well.
Yeah, I do mostly, but I know a lot of Megaminx PLLs. So I do quite often do 1-look PLL on Megaminx. So sometimes it's like 3-look.
Right.
There's a lot of 3x3 PLLs that work on Megaminx, and there's a lot of really easy algorithms that are just really easy to do. Like I think every Megaminx PLL can be done 2-gen, but I might be wrong about that. Most of them can.
Okay, I have no idea. Right, so I guess it's worth going back for 3x3. Of course, I always remember I think it was Chester when I said, why didn't you do the COLL? And you said it would have given me a Z perm.
Yeah.
How frequently are you able to predict stuff like that?
If it's cross-oriented last layer, I always know what PLL I'm going to get because I know like half of ZBLL. So I think I'm quite good on the prediction side. I always have a rough idea from a lot of experience and knowing what my OLLs look like when they're going to PLL skip. I do know, like, say there's like, okay, I'll give an example actually. So this is fact soon.
Yeah.
And you can see when it PLL skips, you've got these two blocks. So if you get those two blocks, but you know it's not going to PLL skip, you know you're going to get like a J perm or something because there's big blocks everywhere. And so there's a lot of that and a lot of experience and like untimed solves. I can quite confidently have a pretty decent idea of 1 or 2 PLLs I'm going to get on most solves, I think.
Right. Yeah. Does make sense. Although, of course, if we look at Timon recently in his 4.02, he actually forced EO into a ZBLL.
Yeah. Yeah, he did that on a lot of solves in his average. It's looking like it's a very good thing to do. He's got very good recognition for his ZBLLs as well. So, you know.
I mean, I presume he predicted the ZBLL. Well, I mean, he cancelled into the ZBLL, so of course.
Yeah, that was sort of like a one look last layer sort of situation where I think he recognised what ZBLL he was going to get, but the cancellation's pretty obvious if you know all the moves. I say obvious, but not particularly.
Yeah, I mean, you say obvious. It's like,
yeah,
if I knew it, I wouldn't be willing to risk it.
Yeah, well, yeah. Timon's got a very good understanding of 3x3, like some of the best understanding of 3x3 of anyone.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, yeah, it's ridiculous. Some of that's like predicting the whole of F2L.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I also feel it's worth asking you about the blind venue at Euros. I've heard some rumors that it wasn't great.
Well, yeah, I think people really kind of over exaggerated that. So yeah, it was in a. I think they thought they were going to have a different room for it, but didn't. So it was basically in a little gym section, and there was gym equipment around, but they had tables in there. People were quite close together, and there were only about, I think there were 8 solving stations, but I didn't think it was that bad, if I'm honest with you. It was just a bit weird, but I don't know. Some people got annoyed about some things at Euros, and that launched a lot of people into complaining about other things.
Yeah, it does seem to happen a lot on Kubix's friends, just various complaints and various trends, all this stuff.
Yeah.
Sub 1 on 7x7 is possible. Discuss.
I've said yes to that because I want to be right in like 6-7 years when it actually happens.
So I guess the fun is, what are the limits? What do you think the limit of 3 blind is?
The limit of 3 blinds.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, we're already seeing Tommy and Elliot. They average. Well, I don't know if they publicly share what they average, but it's pretty good. I think people in future will, like a lot of people will average sub 15 on 3 blinds. I think is where we'll get to, and I think there will definitely one day be a sub 10 3 blinding competition. I don't know. I don't think it will ever get sub 9. I think a 9 is probably the perfect 3 blind. But
right, and like I guess, yeah, it's still sticking. I mean, there have been some cases of normal speed cubing methods. One look like I put that Kim Roger Hoyland Larson one, of course. I mean, is that realistically going to happen more frequently in any other situation?
Is this Kim Roger Hoyland last night? Is that the 2-second solve he got a few years ago?
No, 2.54 he got more recently. I think I put it on the Discord server yesterday. I mean, it's.
Oh right, I hadn't heard about that.
it's, yeah, he got a 2.54 unofficial where he did, well, he claims he one looked it, and I mean it's believable, but I mean it was 6-move triple X cross into 2 twisted corners. So
Okay. I mean, yeah, that is one lookable. Yeah. I mean that's a very lucky scramble.
yeah, of course, but I mean theoretically it could happen. That's the thing. It's like
Yeah.
nothing stopping scrambles like that from happening, and if you do hundreds of thousands of solves, something like that's going to happen, I guess.
Yeah. I hadn't heard about that, but that's very interesting. That's probably one of the luckiest scrambles ever. At that point.
Yeah, I mean, if I can send it to you again, or you can just scroll up the Discord server. So I mean, the other thing is like 2x2. Do you think? I presume sub one averages are inevitable.
Yeah, I mean, Zen Kanani's got a 0.7 average on camera on his YouTube channel, so I think sub one is only the beginning. I think that will get ridiculous. 2x2 single can go down as low as 0.2. Daniel Partridge shared in Discord like a week ago that he could, I think he got a 0.27 on the WR scramble. So, like, there are people who can do it. So, yeah.
What can you do if you do sexy move on a 2x2?
I'm really bad at it. I'll do it now. It won't be good.
Put the camera down.
I got a 0.5 and I +2'd it. No, we don't need to see that. Yeah.
Obviously, I'd do the same. I mean, Harry always gets annoyed when I think, well, if I got a U-perm on Scube, I'd probably get a 3 on it.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd probably do pretty badly on it as well.
You have got a 2.9 Scube single, though, so...
Yeah. I can't even remember that. I think that was it. Stevenage? I can't remember. I forgot I had that. I do have room for improvement in those events. Like I did used to average a lot faster than those, but I just never wanted to keep it up because it's so boring.
What makes 2x2 different then?
Because I already know how to one look it, so I feel really smart, and it's a lot more satisfying. I think if I had chosen one of those events originally, I'd find them a lot more cool. But yeah, I mean, I do find them cool. I think Scube finger tricks are they look pretty cool, and yeah.
And then for Megaminx, what do you think the limits of that are?
People. I mean, Leandro Martin Lopez, I believe is his name. He averages. I'm pretty sure he averages sub 30 at this point. So I think we'll see more and more people get that. I think the single's going to. In theory, I think a sub 20 Megaminx single is possible, but it sounds ridiculous. I just know people have gotten down to like, I think people have like 22s at home at this point. So. But I don't know if there'll be more stuff developed. I heard that he in particular was developing some crazy last layer things like generating, I think he knows winter variation for Megaminx or something ridiculous like that. So
okay.
Yeah, just lots of development in that and more creative solutions. Like, do you know about all of the Jaden McNeil sort of F2 gen F prime tricks? I think George does a lot of them as well. Like it's 2 diagonal F2L slots and you do F, a few 2 gen moves, and it solves both pairs. And Sean was talking to me the other day about how he was trying to implement that to Megaminx, and that there's a lot of cases where it's really good. So basically, I think Megaminx method has a lot of development for it. Also, an unexpected event that's got a lot of development is Clock.
Well, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Clock is also your fifth best event, isn't it?
Yeah. Well, it's getting closer to one of my best events. So I actually learned no flip yesterday. I'm not going to use it in competition for a while, but all I can say is it's actually quite easy and it's quite fun as well.
Yeah, to be fair, I did watch Caleb Trelford's tutorial, and I think I may consider trying to do it at some point. But
I mean, Yeah, you just got to be able to do basic maths pretty quickly. It's not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Of course, that brings me on to something I wanted to do. How is your mental maths? What's my cube average?
Right. Okay. My mental math isn't very good. I mean, it's about it's like high 8. It's like 8.8 something. I'm going to guess 8.87 and hope that I'm close.
It's 8.80 if you think that's a 4, and 8.82 if you think it's a 9.
Oh, okay. Well, in competition, they have to interpret it as the worst one, so it's a 9. Unfortunately.
I'd have to check the WCA to see what they actually ended it as. It doesn't really matter. Still annoyed Harry by gaining like 40 ranking points on summer ranks. So what outside of cubing, what do you do at the moment?
Well, I play piano. I have piano lessons every week. That's the main thing. Other than that, I try to meet with my friends quite often. Obviously, I work. I fix laptops. Those are the main things in my life. But cubing is probably the main thing in my life, to be honest with you.
So you've got a job fixing laptops now?
Yes.
So you're not at uni or anything like that?
No, that's unfortunately not my kind of thing. I wish it was, but all throughout school I was just doing cubing instead, and I know it would be the same at uni. School wasn't expensive, uni is, so this was the right thing for me. It's just to go into work and start working.
Yeah, makes sense. Maybe I should have done the same thing.
Oh, you are working.
Well, yeah, but I am still at uni technically. Have to somehow try and work with my uni stuff occasionally. Yeah, I should probably ask how old you are actually.
I'm 20.
Right.
20. Turned 21 at the end of the year.
So you would be in second year at uni if you were.
Yeah, I would. I'd have finished second year by now, and I'd be going into third if I'd done uni. But
right. What A levels did you do?
I did a BTEC. I did a level 3 BTEC in as an IT technician, and I got distinction merit, I believe was my grade. So I think that's something similar. I think that's A level equivalent would be like ABB. So not terrible. Yeah,
not bad. So I guess you decided at GCSE that you were just gonna do lots of cubing instead.
Yes. Yeah. I was very not well disciplined at secondary school. But I discovered cubing like in late year 10 and got really good at it in year 11. So that was when I first caught the cubing bug, and I don't think I recovered from that. Yeah.
4 years later, you have an NR.
Yeah, GCSEs are an NR. I've got my GCSEs, but
yeah. Is that on your CV? National record holder for 3 blind?
Maybe. Yes.
Should be, shouldn't it? Right. So it looks like I've got 1 minute left. So I have got that I need to ask you what your favorite crisp flavor is.
Oh wow, pickled onion.
Okay, fair enough.
Pickled onion Monster Munch.
And anything else people should know before this Zoom call times out at 40 minutes?
No, just if you meet me at a competition, feel free to come and say hi, because I like talking to new people.
Fair enough. Right. Well, Thank you. I will move you down and hopefully see you at Lincoln. Yes, will do. I presume you're also going to everything else, Wakefield, Droitwich Spa. Well, Wakefield I'm staff for. Droitwich Spa probably, because I think the hotel's quite cheap. I'm not going to ABHC. That's the only one